Good Sunday morning, everybody. I hope you guys are all doing great. Welcome to my channel. We're doing Creator's View today. Is Sunday, May the 19th. And welcome, welcome, welcome. I love you guys. Thank you all for your likes, shares, comments, all of the good. Just all the good. It's yummy, 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 yummy in my tummy. Okay, so today we're here to do Creator's View, and I took some notes and stuff. We're going to pull an archetype card to see kind of what we're going to be looking at or through. I got a little bit of a feeling. Been thinking of shadow work all morning, so I wouldn't be surprised if something come out about the self or shadows or something like that. And we'll see. So we'll see what this message is, what it's about, and we will go with it from there. One more time. I don't know why, but we will. Okay, and this is the archetype deck, the wild unknown archetypes. The mountain. Okay, we've got the mountain here. And as you can see, we do have some shadows in there, right? So what is this big mountain? Well, this is you. You're the mountain. And there's all kinds of things within you that really you don't even understand. Your DNA, is just full of energies and spirits. And I actually think that the spine, the DNA right there in front of the chakra system is where our ancestors reside within us. And you are this great mountain, and it is you that you have to ultimately conquer at the top, right? Nothing else but you. Okay, so here we are. Let's roll some dice and see what's going on out in the great expanse of the universe. And what do we got going on today? I believe the moon has in sextile, I believe that's called, with conjunct Mars, and we got the sun sextile Neptune. Okay, we've got Mars and Neptune out. Let's see what happens. We have Saturn, we have Aries, and we have 8. 8 is the number of affinity. It's also, to me, the number of karma. What you put out comes back. And Saturn, discipline. So we got earth and fire, and what comes around goes around. Very interesting. Aries is all about leadership, maybe leading the charge, and discipline. Very disciplined in their extremes of what goes around and comes around. Knowing what goes out comes back. Amen. Knowing that. Okay. So we have lots of love here. Pink quartz. It's also a pendulum, so maybe somebody out there can scry. We have skull and bones, which is a representation of card 13, death and rebirth. And right after that, we have a star. What does that say? It's a star, and it says, just for you. That signifies the rebirth of the death. And then we have this sweet little starfish that lays on the bottom of the ocean and watches as everything just goes on around it. Okay. that kind of talks about the shadow self in a way too, because there's a lot of things about ourself we kind of either just let go or don't pay attention to or act like it don't go on, kind of just watch things that go on around us. Okay, so we got the mountain. So this is about climbing the mountain, and we're gonna see how we go from there. Let's use the good messenger today. So all morning I've been hearing word from the spirit about our shadow self and how important it is in healing our shadows. Now, we're going to talk for a minute. What are our shadows? Our shadows are those parts of us that we don't love. Our shadow is that part of us that we don't like. Our shadow is that part of us we want to hide from others. That shadow is that part of us who are ashamed of things we've done or maybe ashamed of things we will do. The shadow is always there if we do not heal it. And so this message is about loving your shadow as much as you love your light. To embrace those parts of yourself that you're not sure of, that you don't like. These are parts of yourself that need the most comfort, God says, and brings the best growth. Because we go in and look at those things we don't want no one else to see. And we learn to accept them as parts of who we are. We forgive them and integrate them back into the light. We want to love all of ourselves so we can be wholly loved. Holy. To be whole is to account every fracture of yourself, especially those you have disowned, so that you can come back as a whole person. You forgive those parts of yourself. You allow them to be weird, kooky, or odd. And you accept yourself as a unique person. Messenger of love and water and emotions. Messenger of water, which is basically of love. And this is just clarifying to you what I'm bringing you this message today about loving your whole self. Even those parts of yourself you don't want no one to see, and that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to show yourself to everybody. But you do want to heal them and love them and integrate them into your whole being. Your whole being. Yeah. Sometimes we think in order, a lot of us, especially divine feminines, have got this thing of we got to be seen as a certain way. And divine masculines too. Got to be seen in a certain way, right? Got to be seen in a certain way. Got to be seen in light. All the shadows get pushed to the back. But look, there you are, kind of standing like a void, empty, dark anyway. So if we put our shadows away and we don't want to face them, what, let me see. I've been working on my shadows for a long time. These are the things that we usually don't want no one to know. These are the things that are between me, the universe, and my spirit. These are the things between you, the universe, and your spirit, or Creator God, or however you want to see it. These are the things that we want to pull out of us and heal. Perhaps this is almost looks like hiding in a mountain, huh? Hiding inside of there parts of ourself that haven't been integrated into the whole. Parts that we're ashamed of. God, I don't know. Some people can be ashamed for hardly nothing. I used to be ashamed for talking. Believe that or not. I'd be embarrassed as heck if I said a word and anybody looked at me. I'd be like, you know. These are integrated shadows that I learned when I was being raised. I realized, no, you shouldn't talk, because if you talked, you could get smacked. And nobody was going to hear what you said anyway. See, those were shadows that I had created over a lifetime to survive, to prevent myself from being abused. And so we shut down our voice because we're afraid that what we say might not make people happy. And if it doesn't make them happy, then they'll take that out on us. So these were things that I had to heal within myself. Learning how to love was, because there was a time when I just hated everybody, isn't it? It's, to me, at this point in time, it's hard to believe. But in all actuality, I hated myself. And so, and what we're talking about is emotions, right? Hate and love are the same thing. They're emotions. They're emotions that we want to heal. Fear is an emotion. Fearing to speak out that it will upset somebody. That was me having these shadows that I just kept placing behind me. And it gets heavy after a while. You feel like you become nobody. You don't know who you are. You don't know why you're here. All those shadows are blocking the light. Little pieces of yourself that you pick off of you and you put behind you because, you don't feel like it's good enough to be out there and seen. This is the things that we want to heal and accept about ourselves. And it takes slow practice, working on it day to day to day. Not all day, but I do take a few minutes every day and dive into cleaning my chakras, clearing out old shadows, loving myself, knowing I'm worth the time to do this, to keep a calm, cool, steady head on my shoulders, knowing that I love to give messages from the creators. So, working on my shadows was very important because I couldn't do this, or I didn't feel like I could do this if I wasn't well and healed enough to help others along the road, right? Because I didn't want to do tarot card I didn't like the way tarot was being used, when really tarot is actually a healing tool. It's a healing tool, and that's about emotions as well, right? To heal mainly is to heal our emotions, the living waters that bring us life of joy or death, however we look at it. Okay, so we want to look into our shadows, and then what do we do? Once we find a shadow, what do? We hug it. We hug it out. We love it. You can actually put your arms around yourself and say, and we understand where the shadow come from as well. We explore the shadow. We look at the reason the shadow is there. Why did we hide that part of ourselves? Why did we put it away? What can we do to help that shadow rejoin back with us into our whole being? Now, the shadow is a powerful tool in our life source energy, because the shadow is actually what protects us. The shadow is that which comes out when, defense is needed, when we need to defend ourselves. So we want to make sure our shadow is whole and integrated, wholly integrated, yin and yang, wholly integrated, divine feminine, divine masculine, to clear away any clutter that's in our closet, anything that we think about and we go like, oh, I don't want to think about that. Please, you need to think about that. It's very important. It's a part of your shadow work. It's something that needs to be delved into. And the more you work on your shadow, the more empowered you become. And also that thought will not pop back up into your head again, and it brings clarity. Clarity into your mind, clarity into your heart, clarity into your soul. All things are forgivable. All things can be arranged within our mind, our heart, and soul, whereas we can even learn to walk different paths. Hey, we don't have to be that which we come from. We can create within ourselves and our world the paradise that we have always wanted to live in, such as me. My paradise was peace. I just wanted to be finally at peace, to enjoy the feeling of love and calm and peace. Joy too. I wanted a little joy in there, everybody does. And it took me a long time to get there, but now that I'm here, I realize that over the last 3 years that I have done a lot of shadow work, a lot of healing parts of myself that I hated, and, things that I've done that made me embarrassed and ashamed. And then realizing over the last 3 years, how could I have done anything else? It was all I knew. Nobody had taught me anything different. I had to learn this as I went. So we don't come here with a book, a manual. We come here and we have to learn from experiences. 4 waters. This is a perfect example of learning from experience, because while we're young, see how young this one is? We hold all the experiences of our ancestors, all those emotions of our family, all those thoughts and feelings of the past and the old that they carried with them too and never healed. And that gets passed down onto us from the parents to the children. And we become ashamed or embarrassed or like we don't want to let nobody know these things in our life. And that is fine. We don't have to let everybody know. But with God, who forgives all things, we can work with God and forgive ourselves as well. We work with the Holy Spirit of creation, and that Holy Spirit will lead and guide us to the places we need to clean out those shadows and what we were born with, right? Not to say we want to get rid of our heritage or anything like that, but any of those things were passed down that do not serve who we are today in this world, which is nothing like 100 years ago. Our world has completely changed. Everybody, like, there's no more hiding out on the farm, because the farm's almost in the middle of town now, right? So there's no more hiding our shadows anymore. It is time to introduce ourselves to our shadows, love them, clean them up, and integrate them back into who we are with power, strength, and courage. Yeah, and it takes a couple minutes a day. Everybody has a couple minutes a day to make and create a foundation. 4 of earth, 4 of pentacles. Yeah, it will begin to create your foundation to be steady and strong You'll clear out your system, your antennas will grow, you'll be very well grounded, and your shadow, your experiences will help lead the way in your life. Your experiences, your shadows, those things that you hid and ran from or didn't want to think about, or they still pop up, or also another part of shadows is, oh, I hate myself, or I suck, or see, even the sound of it is horrible. I'm stupid. Don't be ever, don't do that to yourself. Don't do that. Did you see the look on my face and everything when I said those things? It just went all, oof. This is why, and what happens to us when we treat ourselves mean. We want to treat ourselves as if we're newborn babes. Fresh, clean, pure, and worthy of good kindness and love and gentleness from others. Well, for those of you that want that, and I don't know anybody who don't these days, everybody's stressed out to the max, anxiety is across the roof, everybody's on some kind of pill. Yeah, and so to get and to create a safe space within ourselves is why we want to integrate and love our shadows with mercy, compassion, and understanding, knowing why we did what we did. And from there we begin to heal. We even stop doing what we did if we haven't already. Mercy and compassion and love will get you closer to your healing than condemning yourself or abusing yourself or being angry with yourself or being frustrated with yourself. That's when you need to really give yourself a big hug. And in your mind's eye, you should see it coming straight from God. You want to stop the anxiety. You want to stop the frustration. Not like stop it like that, but you stop it by accepting yourself as a beautiful creature of creation, the image of God. Can you imagine you're the image of God and you're treating yourself mean? How are you going to feel about that? You have a living soul. Seven of water. You have many, many choices and options to choose from when it comes to emotions. Instead of fear, the emotion of fear, use faith. I believe I'm worthy to my creation, and I believe I want to work on my healing. Instead of using anger, use love towards yourself. I understand why I do the way I do. I'm working on it, and I am going to get better. Positive affirmations of love. And knowing that the divine creature of creations wants this from you. Think about it. If there was a God who can create, but he that loves, it's a proven fact. If you don't have a beautiful space and love around you, that trying to create something beautiful is not easy. So love is the key factor in anything you're creating. Six of Earth. And first we got Queen of Water. Love. Love is the greatest factor of anything you're creating. And if you want to create a new you want to do it through love. You want to love yourself through it. I only learned this in the last 3 years. You know, I always hated myself. It's because everybody around me didn't like me either. They didn't like themselves either. A lot of people don't like themselves. They got kids. They don't like themselves, and they say they love their kids. And yes, we act like we love our kids, but do we know love through compassion, empathy, understanding? Yeah, and that's why we love ourselves, because these are qualities of life we want to bring in. Empathy, compassion, understanding comes through the emotions of love, intuition. And look, here we have the Six of Earth, which is all about reciprocity. In other words, you get what you give. And we got that in the beginning with the number 8. What you put out, you get back. So you want to learn to love yourself, and others will follow suit and love you too. For real, for real. Because love is kind of like a drug. It's sweet, it's gentle, it's kind, it's compassionate. Not a lot of people get to experience true love these days. And true love comes first from loving yourself. Is it hard? Oh God, hell yeah. Hell yeah, it's hard. I understand. But do it anyway. Love yourself, your best parts of yourself, but go back in and bring out those parts that you thought you didn't like about yourself. Who knows? They could become the best parts of yourself once you heal them. Generally, the things we hate about ourselves the most is the parts of ourselves that we need the most. Such as me, my mouth was always like this. Oh man, did I ever get upset with myself all the time for talking too much? Not no more. Not no more. I realized that it's what I was meant to do. I was created. And to talk about justice and God, my Mercury is in Libra. 3 degrees Libra, my Mercury. Of course I'm going to be talking all about justice and God. And God is justice, right? We would think that God is justice. Well, to me, in my world, God and justice would be the same, but other people might have different views of what they would view their God would be. My God was a God of justice. I wanted justice for my life, and I wanted justice for other people's life. I wanted a better world. I wanted to see better things, more opportunities for all of us, right? And in order to, once I started getting closer and closer to the spirit, I just found that things would pop up that I would need to be working on. And, of course, my job as a panhandler gave me the perfect opportunity to set and think and work on issues and things like that I went through over the last 10 years before I finally got my home. And so I guess a big sweep was done over the last 13 years where I worked on myself really extra hard during homelessness and, and then I got this place and was able to really dive down into my self-development. And that's what it's all about, right? Is developing ourselves into something we can love. That's what it's all about. It isn't about having the love of another. It's never going to make you happy if that love isn't the love that you want. And how are you going to know it's what love you want unless you look within yourself and begin to learn to love those parts of yourself that you hated the most? And you bring those parts up out of the dark, and you be kind and care for them, study them, read up on them, think about why you didn't like them and how you can improve the things about them or yourself, or actually you should accept unconditionally, but we should always work on ourselves, right? So the right thing for me to say to you is no matter who you are, what you've done, such as me, no matter who I am, where I've been, or what I've done, I had to accept myself unconditionally. And look, I ain't been no sweetie pie. I come from stuff that most people can only imagine. Okay? So I had a lot of cleanup to do. And that's some knowledge there, baby. But yes, gain knowledge about yourself. Learn who you are. Learn about what you want, what you expect from life. How would you like to live? You know, who do you want to live with? Where do you want to live? But mainly, none of those things matters except, are you happy with yourself? Happy with self is all that matters. After that, everything else is easy. Learning to love yourself. The crone. I'm proud of this. I'm a crone. I'm at the age of crone. I hit the standards of a crone. I read it in the book. So, and I am very proud. As we mature, we want to keep our mind right. We got to keep things from stressing us out. The best way we can stop stressing ourselves out is be kind and accepting of ourselves. Unconditional love towards self first. And as we grow and age older, without all that heavy anxiety within your mind and all this stuff, I think it will save so many of us from getting dementia, Alzheimer's. You got to use your brain and keep it working, no matter how or what you do, just like the rest of your muscles. Everything eventually turns to mush, except for your living soul that's inside of you. The living water, spirit, soul, that part that steps out into another world when this flesh goes away. That's the part that wants healed. Your eternal self. Because the flesh don't matter. It always goes back to the material, and the air goes back to the air, and the water goes back to the water. But there is a substance inside of you that stays whole unto itself. It's called your soul. And if you examine the crone a little bit, you'll notice that she has wisdom, and many of the prophets and such. Growing old is no reason to lose your mind or your health. It all comes down to loving yourself enough to give yourself the right care, to eat that apple a day, to have a bowl of oatmeal once in a while, to do your 7 minutes of yoga for your material body, to age well and still hold your mind and your heart within you. That's what it's all about. And it don't matter if you're 30, you're going to age. And right now would be a wonderful time to start, if that's how old you are, at 30. Begin loving yourself now. Begin, exploring yourself now. Begin learning to understand yourself now. Who knows? You might never get old. Who knows what's coming in the future? But I know this, everything's changing. People are changing. Times are changing. Attitudes are changing. So be the change you want to see. That's what I started out. I started out with, I'm going to be the change I want to see. And it took me 20 years to get here. But I feel pretty good about who I am now. I accept myself. I love myself. I feel like this. This feels like my energy. This is how I feel. I would love to see everybody feel empowered like this as they grow older. We shouldn't be getting weaker minded. We should be getting stronger minded. We should be getting stronger willed, and we should be growing more powerful as we move on. I mean, even in the Bible, they, once all the years were taken away, they were still powerful people up until the days they died. And from the way I understand, there's times when we were in Lemuria that we literally chose when we were ready to pass on. And I believe that too. I believe that is in us. We just haven't located it in our DNA yet, in our spiritual Akashic records, which I think we carry with us up and down the DNA of our spine. Oh, Ace of Fire. That's insight. That's, that's lighting up the path. So who knows? Maybe what I said is getting fired up. But I really do believe the serpent, or our spine DNA, which they call a serpent, it looks like a serpent, has, a lot of information in it that we can access. When we work on cleaning our chakras and we get all of our energy centers fired up, then I really believe that it opens up systems in our DNA to get messages from our ancestors, to get messages from the past, or information about the past, information about the future. Might not be, but I often wonder. They say we're a temple. Where does all the spirits reside? If we're a temple, that means that's all God's spirits are in us. Somewhere. The counselor and knowledge. So this was all about us working on our shadow and learning to love ourselves wholly. Holy. Does that word sound familiar? Whole. To be whole. Our light and our dark. Holding hands and loving one another. Entwining two serpents. And looking at each other with love. I know it's possible. Okay. And then what do we get? We get the child. I'm glad this come out because it reminded me of something. Not only do we have to heal our inner child, but we have to heal our shadows as well. We have to heal all of our whole self. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And I know that this is making sense to you guys because it's making sense to me. It's making sense to me. The good, the bad, the ugly. And we got to love it all. And we got to love it into healing. And when we love our shadow side into healing, it becomes a powerful force that backs us up. All the stress leaves our mind. All the anxiety goes away. We ain't got nothing else to think about because we don't have no shadow side behind us all the time going blah, 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 talking to our head. That's why we heal it. So we don't, so we're not got this noise in our head. I hate this. I don't like that. Blah, 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 blah. Bitterness, anger, frustration. We want to love it and heal it. Love it and heal it. Allow ourselves to know that we're okay. It's okay that you feel that way. You need to tell yourself. We'll work on figuring out why. Why do we feel this way? And then we take the dives from the good messenger, and you become your own hero. Dive in, explore your shadows, light them up, heal them with love and warm-heartedness, because that's what this is, right? Loving and warm-heartedness. Heal them and integrate them back into your life. these fractured pieces, broken pieces, pieces that you don't care for, are the ones you need the most. They're the strongest parts of yourself that you're afraid of. Okay, guys. With that, I'm gonna go. I've been thinking of this reading all morning. God put it on my head. I just got a kick. Yes. I feel like I did the right thing. Not a lot of people. We don't want to talk about the shadows, and when they do talk about the shadows, they don't stay there very long. But the shadows need a lot of love. The shadows are the hurt and broken parts of yourself that need to be put back together and integrated into your whole soul to make you stronger, more powerful than you could have ever dreamed to be. I'm going to get my book. I may have had a note or two. Let's see. The shadow side needs love, acceptance, forgiveness, and intention to walk in light, which creates a powerful new beginning. It helps to love peace or desire it and move towards it with love and intention. Everyone wonders that life is against them. Maybe inadvertently you are calling life off and fate. So what I meant by that was that when I was saying please don't talk to yourself in a mean way. Make sure you are kind to yourself, polite even, considerate, honorable to your own self. And when you begin to feel how good this makes you feel, it will just begin to come more naturally. But it might take you a little bit of time, work on it. Work on your love towards yourself, the respect towards yourself, dignity towards yourself. And when you do this, others will treat you the same way. You know, I've never got a bad message on my show, on my channel. I am so grateful to everybody, all the kindness and generosity that I get from you guys. You're sharing your stories with me and your little, I love yous and thank yous and all that. And I have never got a bad message. And at first I was terrified. Oh my God, because I really do have a tender heart for all the, strength I show. My heart is actually very tender and it gets, bumped and it can make me cry still. But no, everybody was wonderful and kind to me, and I love you guys. And I thank y'all so much for spending time with me and letting me know that you care. And I always want to let you guys know back how much I care as well. So, from the bottom of my heart, I love you and I wish y'all a great day. God bless. Thank you so much. Bye bye.